Quick message before today's webinar. If you are involved with or know any events that require ticketing or admissions, we have a purpose-built platform just for ticket events. Like RunSignup, it's free to use and provides the same marketing and event day tools to help you put on a seamless event. For more information, visit TicketSignup.io. You can schedule a call there or just start creating your event for free today. Now on to the webinar.
Good morning or afternoon, and welcome to another Timer Tip Tuesday. We'll be getting started in just a minute, but we will let everybody kind of filter in as we start off. Just a reminder, if this is your first Timer Tip Tuesday or webinar with the Go-To webinar, there is a little thing on your module where you can ask questions. We will be monitoring the questions throughout. I've got Matt Avery on the back end there, either answering those questions or just interjecting if it's something that we should probably cover at the time contextually. Otherwise, we will have open discussion and question response at the end. And then, as always with these webinars, we will send you a recording and the slides afterwards. All right, let's get started. So this is another entry in our timer revenue series. This one is about websites as a timer service. So we're going to cover a couple different things here today. So we'll just recap the timer revenue series, and then we'll talk a little bit about websites as a service, the templates we offer, branding and color schemes, the event tiles, and some of the website components, graphics and content placement, and then some best practices and tips and tricks. For those of you who've kind of been with RunSignup and in this ecosystem for a while, you will have seen it evolve from just the standard website to cover pages and now to Websites V2. And with Websites V2, as you've seen there, we have components coming out kind of all the time with new features and new things that you can integrate. So by the time this is out, there may be a new one. So it's best to keep on top of those because some of them are really exciting and useful. The newest release being the frequently asked questions component. So try to stay on top of that. They may be solutions to problems you didn't know you had, or just really like appealing pieces to a website that can set your races website apart. So just recapping some of the timer revenue series. We've covered track meets and tickets. We've covered timer revenue increasing methods. We've talked about race joy. We've talked about registration and marketing as a service. And this kind of fits a lot with registration as a service and marketing as a service because people register from a website and the odds are pretty good that your website is on RunSignup because it is free. And then marketing is, how to get people to your website to register. So these three are fairly interconnected. So if you feel like, oh, this would be cool, but I want to know a little bit more about the registration piece or the marketing piece, I would highly recommend you go back and check out those two webinars or at least the slides. So just another reminder, 81% of timers provide services beyond timing. So timing, might be your bread and butter, but the differentiator might be something like providing registration setup or custom websites. So this one, we've only got about 25% of timers saying that they offer custom websites. But if you look at the other pieces offered, whether that's event marketing or registration setup and management, these three are pretty interactive. So the odds are good that number's a lot higher, but people don't consider it quite the same. And one thing that I think we'll cover a couple of times here is that this is probably going to be an area that, at least in the short term, timers going to see a increase in requests for. With the eventual sunsetting of cover pages, and don't worry, we don't have a date on that yet. We will let you know when there is a date on sunsetting cover pages. But when that happens, a lot of races will probably either need some help or some prodding to go and transition to Websites V2. And that's an opportunity for you as timers to kind of help build their pages for them and make the relationship a little bit stickier. So websites as a service, the website for a race is oftentimes the first thing that a customer sees or a participant sees after the advertising or the search that brought them to that. And so it does have a really big impact on how they feel about the race. Um, it also has a big impact on how participants that are already registered feel about the race. Are they able to find the information they need? Is it useful to go back to this website? And these can have an impact on your sponsor relationships and activation as well. So why use RunSignup for a website? Well, I mean, the biggest reason is that's free. It's there. There's marketing for you 24/7. It is mobile responsive and optimized for search engines. You may have noticed if a race has registration on RunSignup, but has their website hosted elsewhere, oftentimes searching for that will bring up registration first, and that kind of speaks to how well optimized um, the RunSignup components are. This is data driven. They automatically update based on race details. The other thing that's really nice with that is that it can also play into the emails with the placeholders there. And then, offering custom websites and tools really brings people and keeps people in this ecosystem that also has things like automated self-serve options. Let participants um, transfer themselves. Let participants update their question responses or swag options. And you could also build components in here with these websites that go back to you as the timer. And so it can be an opportunity saying like, hey, I'm going to build this website for you, but you're going to have a page that's just linking to my website as the timer for your race. And that's a really big opportunity because as timers, it's kind of hard to get yourself out there the same way as it is a race. So that's an opportunity there as well. Um, as you can see, like that, it's kind of visual candy on some level here. You can add all of this information in a pretty easy to manage and follow path. Whether that's having drop downs that help you navigate things, whether it's highlighting what your race is about. Are you a fundraiser based race? Are you a triathlon that's highly competitive? Are you kind of trying to bring in more people who aren't your traditional, racing subset and are more into it for a specific experience, whether that's a brand or a course or a holiday? What are you highlighting there? The components in Websites V2 really allow you to highlight those and make it your own. These are all RunSignup websites, but there's so many components and there's so many different ways that you can build these that you can stand out among your peers. So a quick intro to the website builder. So just a reminder, if you're building stuff now, you should be looking at Websites V2. So go to Race, Website V2, Website Builder. It's a one-stop shop. We are introducing templates over time that will make life a little bit easier as far as saying, well, this is what I kind of want it to start from. So you're not going completely from scratch there. And just a reminder, you can build all of this Website V2 and preview it and test it, and then decide to go live at a certain time just by clicking a button there. So you can be prepping this in advance of the next cycle of registration. Maybe you have some off-season time in August, or in the winter, depending on where you are, that allows you to start building some of these. And maybe registration doesn't launch until February. You can build it and then just click the button when you're ready to go switch over to Websites V2. But again, just a reminder that cover pages will be going away in the not so distant future, and that we will let you know when that is going to happen. With Websites V2, you have a full screen layout. On the sidebar over here, let me highlight that with my cursor. That's kind of your navigation menu, so you can see what page you're on, and that allows you to kind of go and edit things at a glance or see what you're working on right there. The content area is on the left side, and we make it very easy for you to add sections or add new components within a section. Um, just a note on that, and I'll try to touch on this again in a little bit. Adding sections may be a better way to do things if you're not quite sure how you want that layout to work. Because while you can reorder things within a section using these up and down arrows, you can't reorder something from within a section up to another section. There's not like a copy paste component to that. Templates, these are simple but effective ones. If you're really just trying to build something that's ready to go out of the box, templates are a great way to do this. So start with the templates and system pages, and then just create a few options in there that fill in the space. There are some things that pretty much everything should have. One of which is event tiles. So set up your menu and think about what you want to be in this. Whether that's just external links, new pages, system pages, and just pieces like packet pickup, directions, parking, course maps, other FAQs, and then build the content around the cause or core features for the race, such as referral refunds or fundraising incentives. Snippets of content to the main page can be helpful. If you're doing things where the external website or maybe like organization page of the bigger driver, you can still add one of those navigation components and just have it link to an actual external URL. So you can have some back and forth between, say, your organizational website or your membership page and your website v2. And because of the way that RunSignup builds a lot of these pieces, if something's in websites v2 for a race, it probably exists for other components there. So you can have things kind of shared there, and you're not having to relearn everything time after time. An important note here is that with websites v2, unlike what you'd call like original websites, we don't have a results component that's pre-populated. So it is a best practice to add a link to results, maybe add a system page that links to results because it's not a system default. One thing that you might notice in the page settings when you build a page is that you can set a publish date and time for when that will pop up. So if your race is on, say, August 12th at 9 a.m., you could have the results link built out and ready to go, but have it publish at 9:05 a.m. so that people will have that to go to when they finish. Some sample templates. This is a very simple race template. It's got event tiles, it's got a divider, countdown clock, and it's got a 2-column race location and directions and a contact us page. Out of the box, this is pretty much everything you need to get things going. And as you can see, it's also got very nice branding because we allow you to set up that race theme there. If you want to have a runner focused race, event tiles, divider, race description, swag description and image, countdown clock. And then the big thing here, as you'll see as it scrolls up in a second, is the Strava map. Strava map's a really cool component. If people are looking for a course map, that's a really nice way to do it. They can see the course map on there. They can also link out to it on Strava, which would allow them to add that to their GPS devices or just go run part of the course as they lead up to the race. And then again, like there's images here that really give people that like fear of missing out, that the FOMO there. And then as always, the contact. So all of these things are pulling in with the branding and color schemes. And I think that these are really important because this is the easiest way to differentiate yourself. You have a brand, you have a logo, make sure that it's out there and part of your website. So update your theme and logo and color scheme. This is, on that right-hand navigation piece, it's got its own piece that's always there, the theme options. Use an evergreen logo. That's probably one of the most important pieces here. And when we say evergreen, we mean don't put 21st annual. don't put the year in the logo. Have the logo to able to be reused year over year, and also add an optional favicon for branding. If you're not sure what a favicon is, it's the cool little logo in the tabs on your browser window. It's a really nice touch, and I think it elevates something from being clearly a vanilla website to being much more branded. And it doesn't really take anything other than uploading that favicon in this logo area. So to do that, theme options, logo, custom favicon. And then using a custom color scheme, pick something that works really well with your race. Pick something that speaks to what your branding is, and that will make sure that things are legible on that page. So don't pick a font that's really hard to read over the other color. So test that out as you're going. Kind of the rule for everything that applies to timers applies to this. Test it. With the way that website v2 builder works, you have a lot of preview options there, and just make sure you're taking advantage of those, because again, like, you only get one chance at a first impression with these things. So update your theme, homepage banner and page banner. You have a couple different options here. Homepage banner can be stacked full screen or disable it. Default or stacked are options here. And then you also have some text options, whether that's name, date, location, and you can hide some of these things. Again, play around with this. There's no hard and fast rule on it, other than what works best for your race is the best way to do that. That being said, making sure that the race date and location are easily viewable somewhere on that first page is a best practice. Event tiles and website components. So this is where we're going to start to dive into some of the components that are available in Websites v2. And when I say some, I do mean some. I think we're at 40 or 50 some components or something like that, and counting. So creating your content, custom components, contact forms, text, buttons, image, videos, playlists, slideshows, cards, dividers, Strava. These are just a few of the components there. And again, what you want to highlight on these pages is going to depend both on what the page is and also what your race's story is. You can see that maybe top fundraisers isn't going to be universal, but if you have a very fundraising and charity forward one, having top fundraiser component, having a charity leaderboard component is going to be pretty important. If you have a race that sells out pretty quickly, doing something like a participant count might kind of drive some urgency. If you are looking for more sponsor activation, make sure that you have that sponsor list going there. So you have a lot of different options here. You have dynamic components as well. And when we say dynamic components, we mean components that update based on other content. So a countdown is counting down dynamically. Locations, that's pulling from information that you set up in the Race Wizard. Participant count, donation thermometers, and top fundraisers. These are all updating as the data on the back end is updated as well. For sections, as of now, we have not just single, not just double, but 3 columns recently added. So you can do 3 column components there, either default or full width. And again, like, this is going to be something that you should play around with and make sure that it looks the way you want it to look. Again, this is your race's brand. So making sure that it is honoring that and kind of delivering exactly what you're looking for is pretty important there. So, as always, test stuff out, make sure it looks good, not just on desktop as you're building it, but also on mobile there. I went back. So some example websites. This one has the event component, and it's got a 2-column piece there. It's got a very clear and concise navigation menu. This is the full height homepage banner, as you can see up here, with the way that the buttons fall on that without it cutting off. It's got very clear separate sections that with full width and background colors. It's got a restricted width default, and then it's got some padding and rounded corners that you can see here. Again, like you can choose kind of some of these options beyond what's just out of the box. It does have the event tiles component here, which will seem fairly familiar because that is, something that is a part of most race websites everywhere. And then text components with different backgrounds. Again, you can see that there's a color story for this event and that it's not just the same background color over and over. Were this on mobile, it would stack a little bit differently, and you don't want it to just be the same scroll all the way through. Some more website components, top teams, PDFs, header sliders. The FAQ component is very new. I think that that's a really cool and important one. Most races have an FAQ page somewhere, so being able to have a component that makes it a little bit cleaner is really nice. So graphic and content placement. This is pretty important because this is a very visual interface here. So when you're using photography, consider the image component, consider a slideshow component. Slideshows are a great way of highlighting what your races look like in the past there. Maybe make sure that your homepage banner isn't just kind of a generic one, but maybe it's showing something that's really a highlight of what's great about your race, whether it's this exciting medal here, whether it's people having fun at the finish line. You can even add these as the background to the event components there. So you have a lot more story to tell with these options. When you add sections, you can have a section URL. You can have that publish date or hide component that we talked about with the results. And you also have different layout options, whether that's the padding, the rounded corners, the section height, or the border there. So again, like test these things out. What color the background is might depend on what other pieces you have around it. So make sure that that looks good whenever you're doing any of these. Anytime you make a change, just test it. Make sure it looks good. And you can look at it and see these in the builder prior to publishing them, before you save them to go live. So we give you a lot of options to view these pieces before before you present them to the public. Some content examples here. This is a section with borders. So you can see the red border going around that. It's a text component with a left-aligned image, and then it also has a donation thermometer component. Again, like if you are a fundraising-based race, if that is a mission-based race, this is pretty important because you want to put that front and center. Are we meeting our fundraising goal? Come help us fundraise for this cause. That might be the entire hook for the race. And so making sure that that's visible to everyone is pretty important there. A couple other content examples. You can see these are card components that have an image and some text. These are the square edges versus the rounded edges down here. You can see some nice border. It seems silly, that line component actually cleans up a lot of stuff. If you're not using it, I think it's a really nice way to clean some things up. You can see it right over here with the countdown clock. So some recommended best practices. Strava component for a course map. Give people the course map. They always want to know where they're going to run. That's more than just a flat image. That's something that they can take to an external app. That's something they can put on their phones, on their GPS watches. That's something that I think is pretty helpful to answer a lot of questions. Have an athlete guide with race day info ready. Again, that's something that you could have published maybe on Monday of race week. And that's also something that you can be linking to from your race week email. And that way, if you do need to make changes to it, you're not having to go send out a bunch of corrections over and over again. Have an FAQ page. Make sure that donations, volunteers, and sponsors are highlighted. Those are three pretty important components of most races. Add all social media links. Have a context or a contact form. Let people ask questions if they have them. Don't go chasing them down across however many different places, let them go directly to you. And then for results, again, just a reminder that we don't give you a top navigation menu piece of that by default. So always build that. If you don't have past results, consider doing the publish date on that. So Strava component, talking about it a lot, just highlighting it there. It displays an interactive Strava route. It can be linked to a Strava club and viewed on Strava, and you can also send it to a device. It is very easy to put a course on here. You just need to have that map, that course route made in Strava, and you copy over the value into the component. For the social components, you add the component on the website builder, and then you go to the settings, and then you have some options of which links to display. So you can see those out here. By default, I believe it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. There is also the external link option there as well. Contact forms, you can either have that as a single button, says have a question, and then it expands, or you can have it always expanded. This is a good way for people to reach out if they have specific questions. You can also go ahead and make this a little bit more specific to something else, like having sponsors be able to reach out saying, hey, I'm interested in being a sponsor, and change the text there to sponsorship inquiries. You can have multiple contact forms, I believe. So you could build this out in a way that gives people the feeling that they're interacting with their specific need a lot more and not just kind of stumbling through things. Again, a couple other advanced tips and tricks. Those dividers really do make things pop. Having specific section URLs is very handy because you can share those. You can have links go directly to certain pieces of your website. And then BYO domain, we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. I think that's a pretty important one. Creating section URLs, again, like in the section settings, you can put a unique URL right over here. So you can see that this has the race URL, and then it has the specific section slug there. This also shares links to specific sponsorship levels or tiers as options. This is just a great way to help with navigation and to bring people specifically to the information that they're looking for. For layout options, again, like this speaks to the corners, how you want to round them, if you want borders, if you want padding. Consider keeping this pretty uniform throughout your website, because it's not jarring necessarily, but it is one of those things that kind of people don't really notice, but they feel. If something is all square corners throughout, and then all of a sudden there's like a rounded section, something might just feel a little bit off. So just think about that when you're building these things. This is completely a user experience piece. So you want to make sure that they are feeling like they're getting really good value. Having a nice website is a really good way of reassuring people that they are registering for a very professional race. BYO domain, like I mentioned, this is a pretty cool and also important piece. So being able to say, myrace.com instead of runsignup.com /state/myrace is nice. If people have an easier time remembering that kind of URL. It also keeps traffic from a legacy website going. So if you already have a website that's all your races information, but a separate RunSignup page for registration, you could just bring that main domain over to RunSignup, and instead of paying for hosting somewhere else, you could be having a free website with RunSignup and just bring the domain, and that way people can still go to the same URL and have all of that information here. It includes a free SSL certificate. It's optimized for search engines like we talked about. If you have a separate race website and registration page, odds are pretty good that that registration page on RunSignup is showing up first in searches. It also connects your race data for up to the second information on price increases, participant caps, and more. You can also set up a subdomain with this. Website checks, a couple things to do and discuss with race directors as you're doing this. How long does it take someone to find the sign up button on your site? Make sure that that's like in a couple places there, because ultimately you're bringing them there to either give them information or get them to register. And if you're not doing one of the two things there, you're not serving at least half of the people who are visiting the site. Making sure the dates and start times, sponsors and course maps are updated. Those are pieces of information that you do not want to have wrong. When people register for something, they want to know the who, what, when, where, and why. And having one of those wrong is less than ideal for everyone. And what services are you offering? Whether that's participant tracking, photos, training programs, and are you promoting pricing strategies like early bird discounts and referrals? If you are doing refund referrals, make sure that you explain to people what that program looks like. For those of you who were on the webinar last week, you may remember James A. talking about these pieces, and I think that he said it really well when he said, like, just turning something on isn't going to do anything. You actually have to manage these pieces for them to work. Turning on referral rewards doesn't really do anything if you're not informing people about what those referral rewards are. If you're not promoting them, you're just clicking a button, and you're probably not going to get much buy-in from participants. So again, tying it all together here with that first impression, focus on aesthetics, focus on clarity, focus on a cohesive brand story, and making sure that whole thing plays together. Go build it, go test it, go make sure it looks good. And again, like, this is something that if you're building on websites V2, and if you're building it for a race, you can build this in the website builder, and they can go look at it in the website builder before you even publish it, if there needs to be some back and forth depending on the ownership and the activation needs. So this is a little bit tougher as far as pricing goes, because this is a weird space that kind of fits into both the marketing and the registration as a service space. So maybe you want to tie those three things in together as package deals. Maybe you want to separate them out a la carte. Again, big caveats here. You know your audience, you know your market. These are just some jumping off ideas for you as the timers. One thought would be to offer a basic setup as part of your base fee for new customers. Set up their website, their logos, their theme, and add some basic components. Use one of the templates, but do this if it's a race that's new to RunSignup, and make sure that they are standing out a little bit from just like the vanilla default settings, so that they have their logo out there, so that they have their story out there. And so that participants aren't frustrated looking for information like the course, the packet pickup time, things like that. You could maybe offer a level 1 flat fee, and this could be a big opportunity, like I was saying, with cover pages going away. Help migrate an existing external website or a cover page website to websites V2. Combine this with a marketing option, and maybe set some things up for them. You might just go pull components from their old website or from their cover page and move those into an image gallery so that they have access to them for other pieces. Or a level 2 would be that level 1 all included, but then build out a custom package that includes some of the more popular features. If you are offering course certifying, consider saying like, hey, I will build in this Strava component with it. And again, like, these are good opportunities for you as the timer to say, I will do this for you, but I would like to have, a whole page or whole link there that goes clearly to my timing company's page and promotes our services. Just a reminder, as I think you all know, Race directors run races. Race directors volunteer for races. If you're a timer, your best marketing is timing. Your second best marketing is getting on pages where the people who hire you go. Um, so with that, just a couple notes on RunSignup Timer certification. If you are not already certified on the RunSignup Timer certification, one of the 4 certifications that we offer, this is the one that would highlight website building, would highlight marketing as a service, and would highlight registration as a service. This is a self-serve certification program that's always available there. There's a link on this slide. Once you are certified and your quiz is reviewed, you will get the RunSignup certified badge. Timers with all 4 do show up first in a timer search. All right, open the floor up to some questions. Do we have anything on the back end there, Matt?
No questions yet, so if you do have any, feel free to use the questions panel and we'll respond.
Yeah. Looks like Jim has a question. Jim, would you mind typing that into the questions interface there so that we can read that to everyone? So just while those are being typed out there, one thought is just if you have a consistent brand, this is a really easy thing to bring across on Websites V2. If you want to differentiate yourself from other websites, Websites V2 is also a really good way to do that. On cover pages, I have images that go full width, but in Websites V2 they don't. That's definitely something you could reach out to and we can take a look at. I would say that it may depend on what component you're using, and it may depend on the dimensions and size of the photo. But we can definitely take a look at that. Either reach out to the account manager or info at. They're in a slideshow. Yeah, you can reach out to us and we can take a look at those. Honestly, not as well versed in anything visual as the timing back end of things, but we're happy to look at those. All right. We'll hold out for another question or two in case they come in. One thing that is very handy if you're not already doing it is having something like just using the button components to help navigate. If you're saying like, oh, because we have those section URLs, we make it very easy for you to navigate to them by buttons, not just on the top piece. So again, results kind of being the main driver there. That's a useful way to bring people to certain spots that you want to highlight from maybe further down on the page scroll if you have a longer one. All right. If there's no more questions there, just another reminder that we will send you this recording and these slideshows. And then next week, our Timer Tip Tuesday, I believe, is going to be a cross-country refresher. How quickly do you set up a custom race URL? It's pretty quick. You have to make sure we check on a couple different things when you put that in there. It refreshes on a 30-minute basis. So, if you're looking to go live in like 40 minutes, probably would have done it the day before, but it is a pretty quick turnaround. So if you have everything in order, depends on when that 30-minute refresh is. All right. Yep. Next week, cross country refresher. It is that time of year. So we hope to see you all then, and have a good rest of your day.
Now Joel here, one of our developers, has something he wants to say.
Like and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Hello, Internet. I'm here.
I should just have you record that for all the videos.